Yo, 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 hit it up, baby. First off, I want to give all praises and glory to the Most High Yahweh in the name of His only begotten Son Yahweh Shai. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of GMS who taught me this truth. Salutations to all the brothers that's pushing this word in truth and sincerity. And peace, blessings, and healings onto the elect. And today I got this article and I got a bunch of information I want to bring out. So let me just read it. The 9-mil countdown to anarchy has begun for many Americans as coronavirus chaos crashes the system. So if you don't know, the economy has crashed, and food banks are running out of food. We're coming into those times. We're at the beginning of sorrows. Why does it say the beginning? Because it's going to get worse. And also there's a little thing down here. In 1973, film depicting the year 2022, America had turned to cannibalism. So I'm going to get that too. It's a movie called Soylent Green, and just a few words on that. These Edomites on the left-hand side, they deal with Satan and these demons be telling them shit, and they was telling them shit, since 1776, so they planned accordingly, and we're coming into those times like never before, but them demons ain't tell your ass that y'all was gonna lose in the end, you motherfuckers. But let's get to reading. So, while over at the Daily Mail, we see a line of cars waiting for a Florida food bank stretching for miles while they report the demand for food has surged a stunning 600%. Over at an economic collapse blog, Michael Sider published a story titled "Food Banks Warn They Will Soon Run Out of Food as Economic Suffering Explodes All Over America." And, I did a video on that. But now it's just in the past 5 days, it's gotten worse, which helps complete the running picture within our minds. And it's a nightmare, definitely not a masterpiece. People know what's going to happen when people run out of food, man. It's going to be anarchy. That's why it says up here, 9-mil countdown to anarchy. Yeah. But I want to play this video. And then I'll get into some other stuff. So I'm going to play this video and then get into some scriptures.
A leaked document from the Chinese Communist Party has indicated that there are food shortages commencing in China and that people need to stock up on 3 to 6 months worth of food. I'll come back to that in a bit because right now a new document has just been released as well from the Trump administration, from the DHS and FEMA and the Department of Health, indicating as well that just as the UN was warning we'd be entering global food shortages, that the US is due to experience imminent food shortages and folks are going to be unable to go to the grocery store and buy food. That's where we are now. It's that late in the game. This is by far the most important broadcast that I've ever done, and please help me spread the word about this. I'm Christian, and this is the Ice Age Farmer channel, and it's now, folks. It's go time. This document was obtained by Yahoo News despite assurances, even as recently as last week, by USDA Chief Sonny Perdue, who said, "I want to assure you that our food supply chain is sound. No need to panic. Everything's fine." We've heard these words from the government before. Generally, when things are about to break down and they're trying to just keep people at bay for a couple more minutes to buy time. But from the article, that, however, could change if the people who make, package, and deliver food lack PPEs, including face masks and gloves, according to this internal document shared with Yahoo News, which provides a daily virus update. Down here, the document, which is entitled Senior Leadership Brief COVID-19, dated April 2nd, bears the seals of FEMA, DHS, and the Department of Health. It contains a brief description of findings made by the Food Supply Chain Task Force. There is a task force within the COVID response team explicitly focusing on how to keep food moving. We've talked about that before, But now, within this briefing, we see a timeline to food shortages, how quickly this could play out, and it is staggering, ladies and gentlemen. We could experience, if we have shortages of masks, commodity impacts, shortages of milk within 24 hours, shortages of fresh fruits and vegetables within days. Document estimates also that meat, poultry, seafood, and eggs would become scarce within mere 2 to 4 weeks. And dry goods and processed foods inventories, that's non-perishables, grains, rice, pasta, everything, could become scarce as soon as 4 weeks as a mask shortage affected workers. These actually could be initiated by other things. That the supply chain is shutting down in a number of ways, and PPEs are just one thing that could be kicking it off. The document concludes that medical professionals should of course be the first to receive PPEs, but food is kind of a big deal too. Yeah, you don't say. It doesn't matter how healthy you are. If you can't eat food, you're going to lose your health real quick. And so we're seeing egg shortages that are already beginning, egg rationing, milk rationing. This is going live right now in the United States.
I'm going to just say this, at my store, there ain't no eggs. You can't even get a carton at 12. And I don't drink milk, so I didn't. You don't look for milk, you know. But I'm going to keep playing the video.
I want to step back, because it was only days ago that the United Nations finally echoed my own warnings and said we're going to be experiencing global food shortages, and they blamed the virus. They said that that's going to be experienced within April to May, which jives with the timeline we just read. If there's a shortage happening now, then we're going to be seeing those come to fruition within days to weeks. April to May timeline is where we are. It's now. It's immediate. Reports from China, as I said, also have a document that was leaked from the CCP coming out and saying, I mean, I can't read this, but reports are that the document indicates that there are going to be food shortages, that they've been trying to get people to not panic buy, but that gradually we need to introduce this idea that people should be urgently stocking up for 3 to 6 months worth of food and daily necessities. It's a lot of food to try and urgently get if you've not been preparing already. And there's no way just to make...
And I just want to stop right there. I thought China was getting back to normal. You know what I'm saying? I thought China was like, you know, in recovery. Obviously not. They've been lying. You know. Yo, before I keep playing this video, I want to, I got to look at my Twitter real quick. Because somebody posted, I was going to bring this into the lesson, and I might as well. There you go. New wave of locusts. Africa faces unprecedented threat from locust outbreak 20 times larger than one earlier this year, which was the biggest in 7 decades. So it's not only going to be food shortages over here. Yahabasha Mashah is making sure there's a famine over there in the east. And, you know, if it's in Africa, it's going to spread to the Middle East and China. So, you know, the plagues of old are happening again. Yeah. And I'm going to get that. Oh, shit. That's not it. This is 2nd Ezra 15 and but I will bring 15 and 11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. You know, you go up to 5. Behold, saith the Lord, I will send plagues upon the world, sword, famine, death, and destruction. You know, and how is he sending famine in America? By this food bank. You know, because when people go unemployed, that's where they go. And then when they don't have any more food, there's nowhere else for you to go. You're going to have to take what you can get. And then at 14 it says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." You know, because this is a world problem. Yahweh Shemashah is doing this to the whole world. Yeah. So we're in those times. And then it said, hit you with plagues as before, because he did the same thing in Egypt. Yeah, Exodus 10. And the Lord said unto Exodus 10 and 12, and the Lord said unto Moses, "Stretch out thy hand over the land of Egypt for the locusts, that they may come up upon the land of Egypt and eat every herb of the land, even all that the hell have left." And you read Exodus 12 on down, talks about the locust plague that was in Egypt. But as we brought out in 2nd Ezra 15 and 11, "But I will bring them with the mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and to smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof." You know, he's going to do this to the whole world, like I said in 14 and 5. This is a world problem. You know, the new Egypt is America. Yeah, because they got the children of Israel in slavery. Yeah, so, you know, we're coming into times like never before, bro. So, I don't know. You know, just, you got to have faith, bro. Have faith in Yahweh Shemashah, you know, because it's going to get bad out here. You know, I just wanted to bring that out because it was on my mind. I wasn't even going to bring it out, but this video made me bring it out. But I'm going to get back to this video.
Make it abundantly clear, if it's not already, there's no way that our supply chain, which is already in shambles, can tolerate that kind of a shock, can in any way endure everyone in the world trying to suck down 6 months worth of food. It's just not there. It's never there for that kind of an immediate demand. So so it's ridiculous to say that we should urgently stock up billions of people on 6 months of food. But here are the pictures that are coming out of China right now. People are not believing their government when they say, "Don't worry, we've got a year's worth of food and oil." And so they've gone out, they have lost that trust, just as we saw people panic buying toilet paper, just as you, in a financial crisis, see people rushing to the banks to pull whatever money they can get out. Right now, in China, this is happening with food. They're rushing to the stores, finding these empty bins where there's supposed to be ample rice for you to buy. And this is where we are now. Wholesalers are lining up in front of the grain reserves so that they can get more rice to bring to their retail consumers, which have been rushing them and buying all of their food, all of their inventory. So they have run out of stock. Now,
this is 1 Thessalonians 5 and 3. "For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." You know, this world's in panic mode. So, if you ever seen a movie about the apocalypse, what does the government do? They don't tell you. They say everything's okay, everything's all right, and then boom, it hits. So when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. So you can't trust these government officials. Just have faith in Yahweh Shemashah, and Lord, will we make it? You know what I'm saying? But get back to this video.
Some of the coverage on this has come out of the Epoch Times. They've got a few great reports. Panic buying erupting across China, which is prompting food shortage concerns. On March 31st, the Market Regulation Bureau said, people don't need to buy supplies. There's no need to panic. We've got abundant rice and oil for at least a year now. Like I said, they're trying to
when they say peace and safety,
to stall this panic buying and keep things. So please, on March 31st, please stop buying everything. We're not gonna, as I said, we're not gonna be able to tolerate an immediate drawdown if everyone tries to panic buy at once. These are just rumors, don't worry about it. But as I said, now those shelves are emptying out and people don't buy it. They see the empty shelves, they want their food now. We know that China can't produce enough food. In fact, I did a report, China can't feed itself. This was a report several months ago about how China is unable to produce enough food domestically to feed their people. And so naturally they import $150 billion of food every year to make up that gap. But as countries are noticing this global food shortage, as the UN issues their warning that we're going to have global food scarcity, countries have started locking down. They're stopping their exports. We saw Vietnam stop exporting rice. They're the number 4 producer and exporter of rice in the world. So these are major players, major providers of food that the rest of the world eats, are shutting their doors. And that means that this is now a certainty that we are entering global food shortages. And this is being seen even in Vice, right? Even in liberal publications like this. Well, China may have beaten the virus, but now they're facing a food crisis. And I weep when I read some of the comments on this, like, haha, China's getting what it deserves. Folks, we are behind them on the timeline, but this is everywhere. This is coming here right now. People are warning, as we just saw. The government is actively preparing for this, telling us the timeline in weeks that we have before dairy and meat and eggs and then fruit and vegetables and even the dry grains run out. A timeline of weeks. Hong Kong is also risking a shortage of food because China has stopped sending them supplies out the door. Central ministers in Pakistan are warning. It's the same story around the world. Don't worry, we got plenty of food. There's not going to be a food shortage. Please stop the panic buying. Please stop withdrawing your cash from the bank. And it's just heartbreaking to watch this play out. We've expected it, but to see it in reality, it's always different when you experience it than when you intellectually know it's coming. It's just not the same. So stepping back now, how could this be happening? How you might wonder, oh, we've got so much food in the United States. This could never happen here. This guy is a YouTube idiot. Look at what's going on right now and remind yourself that we've come out of these years of terrible crop losses in an intense solar minimum. We see right now milk being dumped out from milk producers around the United States because the plants can't keep up with the bottling. They can't handle all of the input because they have processing plants being shut down. They have workers that are calling in sick. And for that reason, dairies across the U.S. have been dumping their milk. And that's happening, just to be very clear, even as consumers are being rationed, even as we are unable, the demand is still there, even as retail stores are putting limits on how much milk you can walk out of the store, how much butter you can take home. The supply side is being killed off. So we're being attacked on both sides here. And that's just the story with dairy. We just shared this note from Top Knot yesterday who says, I can't find anyone to process my beef. There's no way this beef is going to get to market, and there will be beef shortages as a result immediately. And then more concerning, long term, we're going to get out of the cattle business. Those of us that aren't bankrupted by the fact that there's no market right now are probably going to shift our business model to something we can get money for, because we can't get money for beef right now. So dairy is being shut down. Beef is being shut down. You know, ladies and gentlemen, it takes years if you're starting up a new cattle operation to start up a herd, right? It takes a year to have one baby cow, which is what you need to start that cow producing milk. You can't spin these things up back overnight. So if we see massive waves of bankruptcies, as we will when dairy producers are being forced to dump their milk down the drain, and when there's no market for livestock, then these folks are going to, ranchers and dairy producers are going to go out of business, and you can't just replace them overnight. And I don't know where you think you're going to get your milk or your beef in the next few years, because it's not going to be coming from the same places it's been coming from. They're shut down and they're being forced out of the market. And clearly it's not just Top Knot, it's everyone. You know, we've seen stories from meat packing plants across the US that are shutting down. Here's one in Greeley, one of the JBS plants. There are 3 JBS plants that are completely shut down. Those are the biggest meat packers in the world, ladies and gentlemen. And Grand Island is shut down already. And at the same time as packers are shutting down in the U.S., we're still now, suddenly, we've imported beef from Brazil. We've gotten rid of the country of origin labeling. This is a concerted effort to kill off all U.S. production. And of course, it's not just in the U.S. In New Zealand, we saw that butchers were stocking up before the quarantines, so that because people were coming to buy meat, but then somehow they were not designated in emergency critical infrastructure. And so butchers have had to shut down, resulting in millions of dollars of meat now needing to be thrown away. This is just like the dairy dumping their milk. This is very sad to see, and of course people aren't able.
All right, so I'm gonna post the rest of this. I'm gonna post this link in the description below so you can watch the rest of this video. It's very interesting, but No, as I brought out in 2nd Ezra 15, Yahweh Shemashah is bringing plagues on the whole world. Just like he did to Egypt, he's doing to America. He's playing, Yahweh Shemashah is playing chess. So every time Esau make a move, he plays chess, shuts that down, shuts this down. Yeah. And I want to get some scriptures. This is Matthew 24:7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines with an S everywhere, and pestilences. When people start to die, it's going to be a lot of pestilences, not just COVID-19. It's going to be disease just because of the people not eating and people not taking care of themselves. And earthquakes in diverse places, all these are the beginning of sorrows. We're only at the beginning of this thing, but as you can see, we're heading towards something worse. That's why it says the beginning, because it's not going to be the beginning anymore soon enough. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days, because it's going to be a hell of a ride. Ezra was talking about that. Woe is me, when he woke up from the dream. Just imagine that, waking up. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days. The beginning of sorrows. We just read that in Matthew 24:8. And great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent for scourges for a minute. So Yahweh Shemashah is doing all these things. He's sending all this. He's doing all this. And just to back that up, because it said great evils, right? This is Isaiah 45:7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, Yahweh Shemashah, do all these things. So Yahweh Shemashah is doing this. It's not Satan. It's not no demons. It's Yahweh Shemashah. So it is what it is. But this is 2nd Ezra 16 and 20. But for all these things that shall not turn from their wickedness, nor always be mindful of the scourges. People not going to know that Yahweh Shemashah is doing all this. They're not going to be mindful because they're blinded. Behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon the earth. Victuals is sort of like a food bank. It's cheap food. Yeah. 6,000 families line up in their cars for hours at a food bank in San Antonio. Across the country, turn to charity organizations to keep from going hungry during coronavirus lockdown. This is San Antonio. You see all the cars. Yeah. And what does it say? Behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in a good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So, they shall think themselves to be in a good case because they put all their trust, all these people put all their trust in the government. When this food runs out, boy, wow. It's going to be, like I said in the article, 9 mil countdown to anarchy. Yeah. Just looking at all these people. And all these look like Jake. Oh, this is Jake. Yeah. Jake, boy, you got something coming to you. You got something coming to you. Golly. 17 million people claimed for unemployment in the last 3 weeks. Golly. Y'all have pissed it. How about you, y'all off? Lord will I make it out this motherfucker, man. I'm gonna keep reading 2nd Ezra 16 and 21. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. So it's gonna get so bad out here, you're not gonna have no funerals. Yeah, none of that. People just gonna be dead on the street. It's probably gonna be like a blanket over them or something. But, you know, now that I got all that, I want to get this. In the year 1973, film depicting the year 2020, America had turned to cannibalism. So if you go, I went down in the article, Soylent Green. So before we close, we have to take a extended look back in time at 1973 dystopian thriller movie featuring Clarkston Heston titled Soylent Green that takes place in the year 2022. And as we read in the excerpt below, the movie featured a world somewhat like our own in the eyes of leftists, and quite interestingly taking place largely in New York City. So I'm just going to give, I guess I'll read this. In the year 2022, a cumulative effort of overpopulation, pollution, and some apparent climate catastrophe have caused several worldwide shortages of food, water, and housing. So basically, I'm not going to read all this. So basically in the movie, in Soylent Green, Charleston Heston was he was a detective trying to figure out what was going on with the food they was getting offered by the government, and they found out they was eating people. They was making, it was like cannibalism and shit. So I'm gonna play this trailer. Yeah.
What is the secret of Soylent Green? New York City in the year 2022. Nothing runs anymore. Nothing works, but the people are the same, and the people will do anything to get what they need.
This is the police.
What they need most is Soylent Green.
The supply of Soylent Green has been exhausted.
And Soylent Green is people, bro. They like put them in a processing factory, and they turn them into this Soylent Green, and that's all they got left. And this is a movie predicted in 2022. Which I told you at the beginning, these demons and Satan be telling these Edomites what's going to happen.
What is the secret of Soylent?
This is 2 Ezra 15 and 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. You know, when people are hungry, you know, they'll do anything for food. You know, they'll eat people and shit. You know, I'll get that in a minute, but keep playing this.
Detective Sergeant Thorne. He has a 2-year backlog of unsolved murders. Now he's on a case that must be solved. Saul Roth, Thorne's private library.
Hey, Saul.
A living book in a world without books.
Have some pencils, courtesy of your next assignment. William.
A world without books. Because so these Edomites probably going to try to destroy all the books.
R. Simonson.
Simonson. He was the first to learn the secret of Soylent Green.
They told me to say that they were sorry, but that you had become unreliable.
Saul Roth was the next to know.
How did we come to this?
And he chose to die, rather than reveal the secret of Soylent Green.
And that's what these Edomites do. They rather kill themselves than bring out the truth. Fucking weaklings. You ain't gonna tell nobody they eating Soylent Green is they eating people and shit.
What is the secret of Soylent Green?
Why did you set up Simonson?
I didn't. Cheryl.
See your man.
Officially, she's furniture. She comes with the apartment. She belongs to the tenant.
How many times you been in trouble?
And it says furniture because those are concubines for the elites. They come with apartments because basically in this world, only the elites have places to stay. You know what I'm saying? But keep playing.
With the police, Cheryl?
Never.
Can't hear you.
Never.
Captain Hatcher. First, he wanted this case solved.
What do you say? It was an assassination.
Now, he just wants it
Who
closed.
bought you? High and hot. They want this case closed permanently. Their way. Now you sign this. You sign it.
Thorne refuses to close this.
And that's Jake getting all scared and shit. You gotta have faith in how about him outside, man.
Just do what you have to do. Where did you go with Sons?
He took me to church.
Church. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. It has been 6 months since my last confession.
So this is where he figures out that that's where they make Soylent Green. They cooking people, making them in a green bars down here. These bars, all this is Soylent Green.
Edwardson has
That's Soylent Green right there. And like he just seen, this all them are dead bodies. But you can watch this movie, look it up, Soylent Green, you know. It's just crazy, bro. I'm gonna get some scriptures because this shit gonna happen again. This is Isaiah 19:9. For wickedness burneth as a fire, it shall devour the briars and thorns, and shall kindle in the thickets of the forest, and they shall mount up like a lifting up of smoke. Through the wrath of Yahweh Shemeshah of hosts is the land darkened, and the people shall be as the fuel of a fire, and no man shall spare his brother. And he shall snatch on the right hand and be hungry, and he shall eat on the left hand, and they shall not be satisfied, and they shall eat every man the flesh of his own arm. You know, our people was being cannibals back in the day because Yahweh Shemeshah punishes, but it's going to come to the whole world now. What's to say? 9 days to anarchy. How many more days until niggas start eating each other? This is Leviticus 26 and 29. And ye shall eat the flesh of your sons, and the flesh of your daughters ye shall eat. You know. This is 2 Kings 6 and 28. And the king said unto her, What allied thee? And she answered, This woman said unto me, Give thy son, that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So we boiled my son and did eat him. And I said unto her on the next day, Give thy son, that we may eat him. And she hid her son. So that shit's gonna be happening in the end. They're gonna be like, well, let's eat your kid. You know, and then they eat him that night. And then while everybody sleeps, she go hide her son deep somewhere. You know, that's what's gonna be happening. It happened in the days of old, and it's gonna happen again. This is Ezekiel 5. And 8. Therefore, thus say the Lord, Yahweh Shemeshah, behold, I, even I, am against thee, and I will execute judgments in the midst of thee in the sight of the nations, and I will do indeed that which I have not done, and whereunto I will not do any more like the like, because of all thy abominations. Therefore the father shall eat the sons in the midst of thee, and the sons shall eat their fathers, and I will execute judgment in thee, and the whole remnant of thee will I scatter into all the winds. So, Yahweh Shemeshah not gonna be playing in the end, bro. Y'all, everybody, the world has pissed Yahweh Shemeshah off. So this is one of the judgments. You eating cannibalism. This is Jeremiah 19 and 9. And I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters, and they shall eat everyone the flesh of his friend, and the seeds and straightness. wherewith their enemies that they seek their lives shall straighten them. So, cannibalism is a judgment of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And especially with this trailer in 1973, it's talking about 2022. That's right around the corner. But I wanted to get this because I told you that these demons be talking to these elite Edomites and shit. So they plan accordingly. That's why they go to the Bilderberg group and they plan 100 years ahead, 50 years ahead, you know. So I want to play this.
Quickly to almost 6 billion people and could easily exceed 8 billion by the year 2020.
And it's 2020, so they've been planning this shit forever. So, and it's a spirit. The views are 936, 666, 93, 999, 69. That's that Baphomet shit.
The negative impact of population growth on all of our planetary ecosystems is becoming appallingly evident. Unless nations will agree to work together to tackle these cross-border challenges,
They're talking about the one world government.
posed by population growth, overconsumption of resources, and environmental degradation, the prospects for a decent life on our planet will be threatened. The recent UN meeting in Cairo is appropriately focused on one of these key issues, population growth.
These are the Georgia Guidestones in Everett County. It's in the video, so you can read it.
Yes, please. The stock market took another hit today. Is the U.S. economy heading into a recession?
Well, it may be. We're not thinking in terms of recession. We're thinking in terms of the virus. Once we...
And that's right. It says to crash the economy for a global currency has been planned from the very beginning. That's right. You got the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. Them are the elite Edomites. And I wanted to play this. This is David Icke. You know, he exposing his people on this video, Psalm 64 and 8. This is Psalm 64 and 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. So all these Edomites be telling on each other. They can't help it.
From 2010, that was published by the Rockefeller Foundation. Rockefeller Foundation obviously is a front for the Rockefeller family, which is fundamentally involved in this global cult. In fact, the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers were the creators of the World Health Organization. You look at when these things happen, and great Orwellian, draconian things are put in place. Oh, we've got to do this because of the problem. Well, the problem eventually passes. This virus will eventually flatten out. But what you see every time, 9/11's a classic, they'll roll back some of it, but not nearly roll back to where it was before. The whole thing's moved on, closer to the Hunger Games society. This Rockefeller Foundation document was about a scenario involving a flu pandemic. And it described what would happen, that China would use authoritarian, draconian methods to meet the challenge. And then the West wouldn't basically start like that, but then would become the same. And this whole global lockdown was described in this document. And then we moved to 6 weeks before the virus came to light in China. And we had something called Event 201. This was a simulation of a coronavirus pandemic, which involved the World Economic Forum, which has its meeting every year in Davos. This is the 1%, 1%. And it involved the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill Gates, the guy that wants to vaccinate the frickin' world, and, by the way, is funding the electronic tracking of people so that the authorities know if they've been vaccinated or not through an organization he funds called Gavi.
That's the mark of the beast. You know, so you can read that in Revelation 13 and 16 on down. And then if you take the mark of the beast, what's going to happen to you, you can read that in Revelation 14 and 9 and 10. So don't take that shit. Don't take no vaccine. None of that shit. But, you know, I've been on here. I think I got everything I wanted to get. You know, double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who taught me this truth, man. And call halal, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rahakodash, Shalom.